Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Alright, folks, buckle up because what we're about to discuss could shape the future of the Steelers in a way we haven't seen in years. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, but this one might be the most intriguing for Steelers fans. The question on everyone's mind right now is, what happens if Aaron Rodgers, after joining the Steelers, doesn't have the success they're hoping for? What if, by the end of his first season, he decides to hang up his cleats and call it a career? That scenario might be more likely than you think, and it's pushing the Steelers to seriously consider their future under center. Because, let's face it, if Rodgers doesn't deliver or if he simply retires, the franchise must be ready to act swiftly and decisively to find their next franchise quarterback. And here's where it gets really interesting. Rumors, mock drafts, and insider speculations suggest that the Steelers might already have a potential future star on their roster, and his name is Will Howard. That's right, a sixth-round pick who's still unproven in the NFL but has shown flashes of promise during his college days and in training camp. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Sixth round. That's a late-round pick. How can he be the answer? Well, in today's NFL, especially with the quarterback position, you never know. Sometimes the hidden gems are right there in the later rounds, and if the Steelers' coaching staff can develop Howard, he might just surprise everyone and become the next big thing. But of course, that's a big if. Because if Howard doesn't convince the coaching staff that he's ready to lead, then Pittsburgh is going to have to look elsewhere, namely, the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, talking about that upcoming draft class, it's shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory for quarterbacks. And the Steelers, as they always do, will be watching closely, especially if they need to draft a new franchise guy. A recent mock draft, put together by Ryan Heckman from Steel Curtain, really stirred the pot, suggesting that the Steelers might pull off a blockbuster move to go all the way up to the third overall pick. Yes, you heard that right, trading up significantly to snatch what could be the top quarterback in the class, Clemson's Cade Klubnik. That's a bold move, but in Pittsburgh, we know how much they value a franchise quarterback, and if they see Klubnik as their future, they might be willing to give up quite a bit to get him. So, what does this trade look like? Well, in this scenario, the Steelers would send their current number 19 pick, along with a second-round pick in 2026, and a first and second-round pick in 2027, in exchange for that third overall spot. It's a hefty price, but if Klubnik turns out to be as good as many scouts believe, it could be worth every penny. Heckman argues that Klubnik is arguably the top quarterback prospect in the 2026 draft, alongside names like Arch Manning. And he's not just any prospect. Klubnik finished his last college season with impressive numbers, over 600 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. That's the kind of production that gets teams excited, especially when you consider his polished mechanics and leadership qualities. But here's where the discussion gets even more interesting. The NFL draft is always a gamble, and moving up 16 spots isn't easy. There are multiple teams in between who might also be eyeing the quarterback position, and they might be willing to trade down or offer better packages to keep their spot. Still, the Steelers' willingness to go all in on a quarterback like Klubnik shows their commitment to solving the long-standing issue at the position. For years now, Pittsburgh has struggled to find a consistent, game-changing quarterback, whether it was Ben Roethlisberger's eventual retirement or the search that followed. And while they've had some decent performances, nothing has truly solidified the franchise's future under center. That's why this draft, and this potential trade, could be a turning point. Now, let's talk about Will Howard a little more, because he's a player that's gaining attention. Sixth-round picks don't usually get this much buzz, but there's something about Howard's college tape and his physical tools that makes some insiders believe he could be a hidden gem. He's got the size, the arm strength, and the mobility to develop into a starting quarterback if given the right coaching and proper time to grow. The Steelers are known for developing players, especially quarterbacks, and if Howard can impress in training camps and preseason, he might just be the guy Pittsburgh turns to in a pinch, or even as a long-term solution. Of course, that's assuming the coaching staff remains confident in him, which is never a guarantee with late-round picks. But that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating. The Steelers have a history of finding diamonds in the rough, and Howard could very well be the next in line. Still, the reality is that if he doesn't show enough progress, the team will have to look to the draft. And the 2026 class, as we mentioned, is packed with potential franchise quarterbacks. Klubnik, in particular, has the tools, the production, and the pedigree to be a game-changer. Teams like the Steelers, who value a strong, intelligent quarterback with leadership qualities, will be eyeing him closely. Thinking about the bigger picture, this whole scenario underscores how critical the quarterback position is in the NFL. Every team, especially those with Super Bowl aspirations like the Steelers, knows that finding that franchise quarterback is the key to sustained success. It's what elevates a team from good to great. And Pittsburgh, with its proud history of solid QB play, is no different. The franchise has always valued stability at the position, and they've been willing to make bold moves in the past, trading up, trading down, or developing young players from within. But now, it's about the future. Whether Rodgers has one good season in Pittsburgh or decides to call it quits after that, the Steelers must be prepared for every eventuality. The possibility of a quick rebuild or a long-term cycle of searching for the next star is very real. That's why the focus on the draft, on young talent like Klubnik, is so important. It's also why the coaching staff and front office will be watching every game, every workout, every little signal that might give them an edge in evaluating these prospects. And let's not forget the importance of the team's overall roster. The Steelers are built to compete, with a solid defense, a resilient offensive line, and talented skill position players. But without a reliable quarterback, everything else becomes a lot harder. That's why this offseason, whether it's through smart drafting, development, or bold trades, can define the next decade of Steelers football. They've shown before that they're not afraid to make aggressive moves, and this time around, the stakes couldn't be higher. So as we look ahead, the big questions are, will the Steelers pull off that massive trade to land Klubnik? Or will they stick with Howard and hope he develops enough to lead them into the next era? And what if Rodgers, as unlikely as it seems, does have a long, successful run in Pittsburgh? All of these possibilities make this offseason one of the most exciting in recent memory for Steelers fans. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the quarterback, finding the guy who can bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Pittsburgh and restoring the franchise's glory days. The path might be filled with risky moves and bold gambles, but that's what makes it so compelling. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Steelers should go all in and trade up to get Klubnik? Or do you believe that Howard can develop into the next franchise quarterback? Or maybe you're still holding out hope that Rodgers will have a big impact and carry the team for a few more seasons. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're in this journey together, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Thanks for riding along with me today. And as always, let's keep the passion alive for our beloved black and gold.